for the home cinephiles, for the living room athletes, for the sellers on the couch, and for the bedside analysts, for those who work outside their home in order to protect what's inside. I am dissolving social distancing. I am doing it today, as I did yesterday, as I'm going to do it tomorrow. I am all the telecom technology around you, and I thank you for bringing together vital experiences to those around us.
Salut și bine ați venit la o nouă ediție a ZF IT Generation. Astăzi discutăm cu Florian Lettner, CEO și cofondator al aplicației Fretello. Hi Florian and welcome to our show.
Hi, nice to meet you. Glad to be here.
First of all, let's hear what's your pitch. What's Fretello about?
We create a music learning experience, like aiming for guitarists who want to start learning to play the guitar. So we create mobile applications that help people get started, and from the first lesson to the first chord to the first song. That's all Fretello is about.
When did you come up with this idea and what made you go forward with this project?
We basically started in 2016, so I'm a guitar player myself, and one of my biggest pain points was that, like, planning my practice routines, like figuring out what to play on a daily basis, when to increase my tempo, took me more time than actually playing. So we figured, as a software engineer, we could create a tool that organizes that, like a sports workout where you have your daily exercises, and we're using technology like the microphone to analyze how you play and give recommendations when it's time to increase your tempo. So that's how we actually started. And 2 years later, we figured out that most of the guitar players joining our platform are complete beginners. So by then, we made the decision to switch and provide a beginner guitar learning experience, like really helping people to get started.
What's the current status of development for your project right now? And maybe you can share with us if you had any financing round until now, and where did the investors came from?
The product or the learning experience is available in production for iOS and Android. So we currently have 700,000 guitar players already on the platform. Technology-wise, we're the only fully immersive learning experience. So we have partnered with Apple in the US in the past year and created an augmented reality guitar learning experience where we use front-facing camera of the phones to project information directly into the camera image of the player. So you're sitting with the guitar there, and we're showing you where to put your fingers directly in your mirror image. So yeah, we're the only ones on the market capable of doing that. And in terms of investment, we are currently closing our seed round. So we split it in 2 sections. So our lead investor there is SparkMind. SparkMind is one of the most active education technology VCs in Europe. They're from Finland. And we also have some quite popular founders part of the investment round. So for example, the co-founders of fantastic sports workouts app that sold to Adidas in 2015 joined the round. Also, some of the co-founders from Tractive and the pre-seed VC from Austria called Pioneers Ventures. It's also part of the investment round.
I know that Fretello is on Seedblink right now. Why Seedblink, and why should investors choose you?
Music is a topic that concerns everyone, whether you play or not. Like people consume music. It's a very emotional topic, and our vision is to make it accessible, more affordable, because we believe everybody can learn, everybody deserves a chance to learn. And we have very good strategic investors already on board. And for the remaining part, like for the remaining 10% of the investment round, we thought it's a quite nice idea to also give a crowd of music interested people or education interested people to participate in that round, because we recently saw a lot of people who said, wow, I would love to invest. I'm not an investor, but it's so cool what you're doing here, like especially music teachers. And now like basically everybody can join and can be part of that story. And that was the decision, or that's why we made the decision to try out Seedblink and go with them for the remaining check size we have in the car and in the current round.
And now about the technology. What's the EA doing on the platform Fretello? How helps the AI technology the music industry?
Yeah, I already gave away a few details. So we're currently the only ones who are also using augmented reality. So first of all, we are using machine learning and artificial intelligence to detect the musical instrument and camera images in real time. So we know where the frets of the instrument are, where the different strings are, and we're using AI to then display information on the particular frets, showing people where to put their fingers with visual markers on their smartphones. The bigger part, though, is the recognition or audio technology we developed. So we're actually using AI to analyze the music signals from the people who play in real time to actually give feedback. So that starts as simple as giving feedback about the notes, like whether people hit the right note, or if they were in time, but it goes even further. So for example, what we are capable of doing is if a user plays too fast, if you're in an exercise and you play very fast, what usually happens is that your hand starts to cramp because you get some tension. This results in microtonal changes. So the notes are still correct and everything, but there's some timbre or something. And our technology can detect some stuff like that, derive recommendations. In that case, hey user, you should play slow, and your hand starts to cramp. So we are trying to give the same kind of feedback that a music teacher would give you in a real face-to-face lesson. At the same time, we have to say we're not replacing the music teacher. It's a complementary thing, because if you think of traditional music lessons, you probably have a music lessons once a week with a teacher, but most of the time you're playing home alone and you don't have feedback if you're doing things right or not. And that's where we thought our technology can help, even in traditional music education systems, to help students make progress faster, make guitar learning less overwhelming and less intimidating.
Who are your customers?
Typically beginners, so people who think about learning guitar. There are a lot of them who probably haven't even bought a guitar yet, like people who are just thinking about learning guitar. So in terms of the age, we are in the adult learning segment. So the youngest probably are in the range of 13, but our typical segment is between 18 and 45 in that range. It's mostly people who never played guitar before, who always wanted to learn guitar, but it's also people like, for example, who had lessons as a kid. So when they were young, they quit probably as a teenager or after, and who are returning like after they finished university or searching for a hobby to compensate stress in their daily life or work. So we see a lot of restarters who say, yeah, I always wanted to get better, but never did. So here's a chance now to do it.
How many clients or downloads does the application have right now, and what number do you want to reach at the end of the year?
We're counting registered users because those are the users who are active on our platform and we can interact with. So we currently count 700,000 active monthly. We are growing roughly, like during the Christmas season, we see roughly 1,000 to 2,500 new users installing the app on a daily basis. So our peak season is not like Christmas is starting the peak season, but even bigger is the new year with all the New Year's resolutions. Like people are saying, hey, this year for real, I'm going to learn the guitar. So we will see an even bigger growth at the beginning of next year.
How about the competition? Do you know if it's another platform on the market that are doing what Fretello do?
There are quite a few applications who claim to do guitar lessons. Most of them are not about serious education. So there's probably one or two other players who also provide a systematic approach, a curriculum. So what's very special about Fretello is that all our learning content is created in collaboration with certified music teachers and music schools. So we are not teaching people yet another trick or just single techniques or something. So it's really like a full digital music school paired with the technology to give you feedback like a teacher, and that's very unique. So we're probably the only ones who are doing it at that level. There are, of course, quite some learning games. There's YouTube, of course, where you can find thousands of loosely coupled or unstructured lessons. The issue with those lessons is that they usually don't get you where you want to go as a beginner, because you don't know which kind of material you have to consume when, you don't know how to practice, when to increase your tempo. So without a systematic approach, it's difficult to really learn and master musical instrument. So that's where we see us very unique in comparison to other apps on the market. But of course, there are big apps like Musician or JoyTunes, for example, who do an amazing job for different instruments partially. So JoyTunes is more for piano, for example. But it's good to see good players out there, because it also proves that the market is really bigger than most of the people would think of.
How much does it cost to use Fretello?
We offer a monthly and an annual subscription. So the subscription prices are localized depending on the country you're living in. So the basic price for the US and Europe is $15 or euros per month. Or $90 or euros per year. But as already mentioned, depending on the country you're living in, we're localizing prices. So it's cheaper in the Asian or Eastern markets partially, and more expensive like in the Nordics, north of Europe, for example. So we're really adjusting the prices just like Spotify or Netflix is doing as well.
Thank you. What revenue do you estimate by the end of these years, and what are your plans for development?
We're making $500,000 in revenue this year and 1.5 million next year. The plans, how to scale the revenue. So we're a typical B2C business and finding our users in the app stores, but we figured out it's way more interesting to get in touch with the user where they get in touch with the guitar, meaning partnerships with retailers and educational organizations where people start to think about playing guitar. We are close to finalizing our first big partnerships in January at the beginning of the year. And we're actually today we're announcing a big partnership with the Boys and Girls Club in the United States. So this is one of the biggest non-profit organizations helping teenagers to get a proper education. So with that, we're basically gaining access to public schools who have the issue that budget cuts mainly affect arts and music. So in partnering with us allows them to bring back high quality music education to public schools. So that's one thing we start this week.
And the last question, where do you see Fretello in 5 years?
Yeah, as already mentioned, we are all about high quality and comprehensive music education. So we really want to become the one-stop shop for music education. So for us, it's important to make music education accessible and affordable for everyone who wants to learn. It's not a matter of talent. It's not a matter of how well your other education is, and that's really important for us. So we see the social impact we can create, giving users a proper education. It has a lot of social benefits as well. And guitar is only one instrument. So we see a lot of different instruments that we want to support as well. We already know that our technology is working for those other instruments. So the plan for the coming years is really to provide a comprehensive and broad offering, supporting other instruments like drums or piano or woodwind instruments as well. So that's the direction we want to go.
Florian, thank you so much for answering our request and our questions.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Aceasta a fost emisiunea de astăzi. Vă mulțumesc pentru atenție. La revedere!
Știu ce spun. Ce-i sinistru la ministru? Plagiat, licență și carte fără parte.
Și așa mai departe.
Florin Roman este un personaj ridicol.
Știu ce te interesează.
Bugetul României se face foarte simplu.
Pot să vă spun că există foarte mult zâmbet.
Știu cum să te fac curios.
Vorbim despre femei și chiar despre femei frumoase și chiar despre
Adică
Asia.
despre mine?
It was at this moment that he knew.
Știu cum să te emoționezi. O bunicuță de 82 de ani trăiește fierbinte alături de soțul ei de doar 36 frișca, o voi mânca de pe corpul lui.
Am putea spune că e așa puțin adolescentă.
Știu să conving.
Diana Șoșoacă stârnește un scandal în toată regula cu Italia, e acuzată că a sequestrat o jurnalistă de la Rai 1.
Italienii asta căutau acolo, scandal.
Știu să câștig.
Bravo!
Mulțumim!
Irina.
Știu, deci știi.
Iar noi asta încercăm să facem seară de seară